Hello, welcome to the Film Pulse podcast, the official podcast of filmpulse.net. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is episode number 151. My name is Adam Patterson. With me today, we have Kevin Rakestraw. How are you, Kevin?
I'm alright.
You sound a little less sick than last week on Ryan Watches Movie. However, I am significantly more sick than last week.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm going to apologize in advance for how I sound and any unwanted noises that come out of my mouth during this episode.
It's gonna be a cornucopia of noises. a lot of phlegmy coughs, sniffles.
I want to take as much of that out as I can in post. So...
Take it all out and then cut it together to be.
I was gonna try to. I was actually gonna do that. Try to do that last week with Ryan Watches Movie because I did cut a lot of them out, but in the end I was like, nah, not worth it.
I have one question. For Ryan Watches the Movie, the last one. Did you keep his burp in?
Yes, I did. That was just too good the way, because I think he was saying something when he did it,
and he didn't even acknowledge it, which was the best part.
Neither of us acknowledged it either. We just laughed. We just both started laughing.
Because I think he actually finally had something to say, and we didn't want to interrupt him.
Oh, wonderful. You can go ahead and listen to that. That was on Ryan Watches Movie 149, came out last week, so listen close, and you'll be able to hear Ryan burp as he's talking. Wonderful. This week on the show, we'll be reviewing the indie comedy Appropriate Behavior, which opened in limited release in VOD this weekend. We'll also be talking about Peter Strickland's The Duke of Burgundy, which comes out next weekend. And we're also going to be talking about some of what we've been watching. And of course, we'll be going over this week's movie predictions, new on video on demand, and DVD and Blu-ray releases. Before we kick it off, also remember you can send us your questions. Podcast@filmpulse.net is the address. Let's go ahead and talk about the Oscars. Let's have a quick Oscar chat.
Do we have
This will be a little segment called Oscar Chat.
Oscar Chat.
Little fireside Oscar Chat.
Fireside Oscar Chat.
So
fantastic.
I take it that you have at least briefly looked over the nominees.
I have, yes. Mm-hmm.
And what are your thoughts? I'm gonna see, because we haven't talked about this. This is the first we're talking about our thoughts on these nominations.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts initially?
My thoughts are the same thoughts as every year. What the fuck? But hey, I mean,
I think
at this point in time,
year,
I'm not. Yeah, at this point in time, I'm not really surprised anymore. But it does seem odd because the last couple of years, it seemed like they were finally like making this shift where they were making better choices, and it was more, I don't want to say overly diverse, but they were at least starting to inch that way.
Yeah.
And then this year, it just went straight to like the most boring picks ever.
Straight whitewashed it this year.
Oh my goodness. I mean, in their defense, because I've heard numerous people talk about how there needs to be more diversity, and all the performance nominations, they're all white and this and that, but yet I don't really hear anyone come out and say what should have been nominated outside of Oyelowo.
Yeah, he got
robbed. I mean, come on.
I was just gonna say him.
He got robbed, obviously. DuVernay. Because I don't understand Morton Totem getting a best director. I mean, anyone could have made that goddamn movie. Give me a break. There was nothing special about that at all. I mean, that seemed like a jobber type deal.
Yeah, it was pretty by the numbers.
Yes, extremely so. So out of those two, but like people are saying, more we're in Best Picture. More diversity, and I'm thinking, like, what would you nominate?
Yeah,
like outside of Selma, what do you have? really.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's not the Academy's fault if a lot of the strongest films of the year and strongest performances and, strongest everything just happens to be from Caucasian people this year.
Yeah.
But I also will agree that Selma only getting 2 nominations is ridiculous, and
Yeah.
that shouldn't have happened.
No.
The Lego Movie not getting nominated for Best Animated Film
Which, yeah, that one doesn't make any
really,
sense to
really
me.
pisses me off. I
It's
don't understand. I just don't understand how you can not
it's
at least
like
nominate that
they
movie.
they animated Legos, okay? What other films have done like you have Big Hero 6 in there, which oh great.
Yeah, I say take
Another
that
one of
out, put
those.
Lego in.
Oh my
I mean, Big Hero
goodness.
6 was fine. It wasn't a bad movie, but
When was the last time someone animated Legos besides Michel Gondry's White Stripes video?
yeah, exactly.
When was that done? I mean, I don't understand that at all.
And I was a little disappointed to not see A Most Violent Year get any kind of recognition at all.
Anything. Anything. Nothing.
Yeah. got
I don't
it got nothing. Come on.
I don't understand it. And some of these best pictures, like The Theory of Everything, American Sniper, and The Imitation Game.
Well, I thought
Uh,
American Sniper was getting that. That's just
what?
come on. I mean, the movie was fine, but
No, it
Best
wasn't. It was
Picture.
terrible.
Well,
It was
I don't
terrible.
think American Sniper was terrible. I don't think that it was Best Picture material.
No, I mean you got to keep in mind too that the Oscars they only pick from a small pool, which are the same types of films every year. It's just, I mean, we talked about it numerous times before. This is just a studio circle jerk. That's all it is. And then every year, once a year, they'll pick one person that gets to sit in the middle and catch.
I think it's complete BS.
It's just like I mean, Best Picture. Okay, like we said, American Sniper, Imitation Game, Theory of Everything, all very bland by the numbers. Just come on, don't need to be in there. But then you give Bennett Miller Best Director, but don't throw Foxcatcher in Best Picture.
Yeah, that's odd.
Wh- I don't know. I don't understand this shit.
I
And
was
then
surprised to see Whiplash get nominated for Best Picture. That was a surprise. And yet
yeah, but that's right.
Damien
That's
Chazelle's not up for Best Director, which I can kind of understand that. He's a new director, so
I get it. I get it.
I get it.
But then
You
you
don't
throw
have as
more.
many Best
But
Director
then you
spots as you do Best Picture spots.
but then you throw Morton Tildum in there, which I think I'm sorry that I keep bashing on Morton Tildum, but come on. What? Anyone could have made that goddamn movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how, the Oscars really don't pick any performances from foreign films, but the only time that they do is Cotillard. Like she's the only one that's allowed to be
Yeah, they always.
chosen for performance for a foreign film. No one else.
I think it's because she's a crossover. She does American films too,
And I
and
think that they love
she
the fact that she classes it up.
yeah.
But I mean, it's so boring. These picks are just so boring.
When you look at the stats on the Academy and who it's compiled of, it's pretty ridiculous. I think the average age is 65 or something, and it's like 93% white men.
Yeah, it's just I'm happy for best cinematography, Ida getting in there. I'm happy for that. I am completely surprised by Roger Deakins' Unbroken, which I shouldn't be because it's Deakins, but I mean, that was like some of his most uninspiring work.
Yeah, and Dick Pope in there
Ugh.
for Mr. Turner, which I don't know if you saw, but when they were doing the announcements live, the lady that announced it, it said Dick Poop. Dick. And Conan that night made fun of it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Uh,
Oh, thank you. Thank you for doing that.
I mean, best cinematography, I'm pretty much okay with, except for Unbroken. And honestly, I didn't think the cinematography blew my mind in Mr. Turner. There were a few scenes that I thought looked really good, but I'd give it to
I
Selma
mean,
over Mr. Turner.
yeah, I mean, I'm okay with Dick Poop being in there, but Deacons, yeah, come on.
Yeah, Deakins. I
That's
I
just,
like
and
Roger Deakins, but
but they just go off the strength of names here. Like, Meryl Streep. Really? Like, if she just pops up in a movie, she's getting the best supporting or lead actress
yeah,
nomination.
and that seems ridiculous. Granted, I have not seen Into the Woods. I just don't understand why she automatically gets a nomination.
Because she's Meryl Streep. She has to be there. Just make a thing called the Meryl Streep Award and just give it
just,
to her every
just
year
give it
so
to
she
her
shows up.
every year. Oh
Just
God.
call it the Meryl Streep was in a movie this year award. Fucking give it to her.
I
You can
can't
do it
wait.
right at the top of the show. Just get it out of the way.
I can't wait until she starts doing little cameos in comedies and things, and then gets nominated
She
for
only
those.
pops up for like 5 seconds. Still gets a nomination. Oh God.
I'll say that the Critics' Choice Awards came out. They happened this week too, and I don't know if you looked at those, but
No, I did. There's too many
there's a lot of
awards.
awards happening. But when you look at the Critics' Choice Awards, I find them to be much more on point with their winners and their nominees.
Yeah.
First of all, the Critics' Choice Awards recognize action and comedy films and
Mhm.
horror films too.
There you go.
Basically just all genre, which is something
But
that I've always complained about with the Oscars, is that if you make a genre film, you're not getting nominated,
no, you're
period.
not. No, you're not. And even if you put in an unbelievable performance like Essie Davis in The Babadook, you're not getting anything because it's a horror
Yeah.
movie.
Under the Skin, where's that on here? Nowhere?
Nowhere. I mean, what uh score?
Yeah.
Score? Cinematography? Nothing? Okay,
Nothing? No.
cool.
All right. All right.
Nothing?
Okay.
Nothing? Just Roger Deakins with that overhead shot of a plane shadow?
Yes.
Oh boy, give it to him. Give it to him.
Uh, Hand
So
that
good he
man
did
an
it.
Oscar.
So good he did it twice. I mean, goodness. And I mean, we've talked about this numerous times. Again, as I want one awards. I don't care what the hell it is, what the title of it. Where just all films are on the same playing field. You know, domestic, foreign films, everything, performance. You just throw it all together, and it's just based on who gives the best performance. Who cares if it's in a horror movie? Who cares if it's in a comedy? I don't care.
I would
Just
love to
everything
see
on
that.
this. I would love to see that. It would be fantastic, but it's never going to happen.
No.
And the Oscars are just the worst.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I just,
I think
are you even going to watch this year? Because I doubt I'm even going to
probably
watch this shit.
I'm probably not. What I'll probably do is, because we usually post up the results right away, right after it airs on the site.
Yeah,
So I'll probably be paying attention to it
just
just to
write
get
it,
everything.
write it now, and just put for like best director. Just put white person, best actor, another white person.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gonna do.
Or just it's just a post that says a bunch of white people won awards last night.
That would be funny.
There you go. It's take care. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't
Because what do
matter.
you think? Who do you think's gonna get Best Picture? What do you think's gonna win Best Picture?
Birdman and Boyhood.
That's what I say too. Birdman or Boyhood.
They'll probably get a Boyhood.
I don't know. I don't know about that. We'll see how the. I know that the Directors Guild nominations came out this week too, and normally the winner of that, the director, their movie tends to win for the Oscar as well.
Yeah, which is another thing I don't like. Seems like all this is based upon like leading up to the Oscars, like who's winning Golden Globes, who's winning Critics' Choice Award, and this and that, and they sort of decide from there. Yeah, I just don't care. I don't care anymore.
I wonder when the voting has to be done. You know what I mean? Because don't you think that it would be influential if the results of the Golden Globes, the Critics' Choice Awards, all those came out before the Academy voted for the winner?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know when they vote for these things. I'm not sure.
Because sometimes it seems like they're deliberately trying to go against the grain. You know, if, for instance, if Boyhood wins every award, like Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, all of these, and then the Oscars come on and it goes to the Imitation Game, you know?
I kind of that's kind of what I'm hoping for this year with the Oscars. I just hope that it's all like terrible, terrible
Yeah, I hope
choices.
that it's just a complete
Eh,
mishmash of everything.
like I hope American Sniper wins Best Picture.
Morton Tildum wins
More
for Best
Children
Direct.
wins Best Red. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't care.
Well, there you have it.
We're so excited.
Those are
Yay.
the Oscars. They'll
Oscars.
be airing live on ABC Sunday, February 22nd, if you're interested. I'm sure that it's going to be an amazing show.
Do something else, please. Just go out to dinner or something.
Well, let's move on to a movie that I actually quite liked a lot.
Uh-oh.
And that's Appropriate Behavior. This is written and directed and stars Desiree Akhavan, and I have a synopsis here. Shirin is struggling to become an ideal Persian daughter, politically correct, bisexual, and hip young Brooklynite, but fails miserably in her attempt at all identities. Being without a cliche to hold on to can be a lonely experience. Kevin, actually, you
Oh,
wrote the review for this, so I'll start.
Jesus. That was emphatic.
It was. It was intense. It was intense.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right.
like I said, I did like this movie quite a lot. I thought it was really funny. It was really smartly written. I liked all the performances. This is my kind of comedy where it's a very dry comedy, a lot of dry
Hmm.
humor in this, and all the humor is just based around dialogue and interaction between the characters. And
Yes.
I thought that Desiree Akhavan was fantastic in this.
Without a doubt.
And I would say that if you're a fan of Lena Dunham's work, either in Girls or in Tiny Furniture, then this is certainly one to check out because there's a lot of similarities. This is like an Iranian version of Girls.
Oh yeah.
And
See,
actually,
I don't know much about girls.
well,
I think I've
but
seen
you
like
saw Tiny
one.
Furniture. It's
I don't. I barely remember that movie though, to be honest. I
Girls
just
and
remember there being tiny furniture, and Lena Dunham has sex in like a tube
and that's
on the
pretty much
street.
yeah, and that's pretty much Girls. Desiree Akhavan is actually going to be on Girls this season, so
Oh, that's a bummer.
that's definitely going to be the similarities are there between those characters.
That's a bummer, though. I'd like to see her stuff. I want to see more of her.
Well,
That's something.
I'm sure that we will. I don't know if she's going to be
Yeah, I hope that
like a
doesn't take
major
up too much of her
character.
time. Better not take up her time, because I thoroughly enjoyed this. I look forward to more.
Same here. So, what are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts? You're done with your thoughts?
I
You didn't
gave
say
my I
shit.
gave my initial
You didn't say
thoughts. Yes,
shit.
I did.
You're just
I said
you were like
performances were
girls,
good. I said
girls.
that it was my kind of comedy. It was smartly written.
Okay,
Those
I
are
do kind
those
of
are my
remember
initial
this.
thoughts. Then you give
Oh,
your
okay.
initial thoughts, and then we have a back and forth about it.
Okay, am sorry. I kind of forgot how this worked. Uh,
Jesus Christ, Kevin.
don't make me laugh. Oh God. I agree with a lot of what you said. I thought her central performance was fantastic. The supporting cast too, surprisingly, very strong. And I gotta say, I was kind of surprised by the her ability to weave together the two storylines using the flashbacks and everything. And
Hmm.
I thought it was very interesting that because you have two going on. You have her and her relationship with Maxine, played by Rebecca Henderson, who does a great job,
Yep.
and just their relationship falling apart. And then you have the present time storyline of her trying to move on, but at the same time try and win her back, but also try and move on from the
Right.
relationship.
She's also trying to further her career too. She's kind of lost when it comes to her
She, yeah,
job and everything also.
she's just a mess. This breakup wrecked her. So, and I like the fact that she was able to weave the two together so well, and it just moves seamlessly from each timeline. And I found it really interesting to have both of them start and finish at the same exact place, but just in a different mood,
Mm-hmm.
which I quite liked. But like you said too, I do enjoy the comedy. It wasn't I mean, I wasn't like laughing out loud throughout the entire film, but I found it humorous and I enjoyed myself.
I was
It's like a fun. There's a couple times that I laughed out loud, but it wasn't like a oh my God, I'm rolling on the floor
no,
for 90 minutes.
no, I wouldn't say it was a laugh riot, but I laughed quite a bit.
Yeah, and did a really good job of mixing in like the more emotional scenes,
Mm-hmm.
which is always kind of tough because a lot of times when when you mix in the emotional stuff and they try and go for that side of the plot line, they usually people usually forget about the humor.
Yeah,
Sort of dies off and you're like, okay, I thought I was watching a comedy. But here she did a really fantastic job of mixing the two and keeping the humor infused with the emotional scenes.
mm-hmm.
And I have to say, I just love the way that her. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, so you can adjust accordingly. But when she finally comes out to her mother,
Oh yeah.
just the way that that's handled, uh, which I thought was like, I enjoyed that immensely
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
because the ending is so anticlimactic,
yeah. I think it's designed.
which
It's
just
designed to be that way, I believe.
yeah, and it just fits in so well with the rest of the movie.
I don't have a whole lot to say more than what you just said. I liked Haley Pfeiffer's character of Crystal. She was kind of the best friend character, the wild and crazy best friend character. But she was really
She was
funny.
like that.
The scene when they were underwear shopping, and there
That
was
is the best scene in the entire movie.
that sequence between where it kept cutting back and forth between her and the lady, the shop owner, was so funny to me. Just looking
Just
at their faces
the look on her
and
face.
how the look on her face was just gradually changing. And it was just so funny.
I did. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that immensely. That was a great scene.
There's a lot of awkward comedy in this too, so if you're into the awkward moments of girls, especially the awkward sexual stuff that happens in girls, there's
Yeah.
plenty of that going on in this. The this the scene when she meets up with the couple, I thought that whole sequence
Just
was
yeah, the guy says that he has a latex suit, and she
and
just
she laughs at
burst
him.
out laughing right in his face.
And I think she said something like, "That sounds awful."
Yes,
And that
yes.
killed it. That killed the whole
He,
thing.
yeah, man, that really pissed him off for some reason. Yeah, and then the three-way gets really awkward. Oh my.
And the date that she goes on with the lawyer. I love it when she's like, "Can I have a sip?" And she pours the whole thing on her face.
Uh, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this one. Yeah, the what was I gonna say? I also the job that she gets, the filmmaking
Hmm.
job to try and bounce back, and she thinks she's gonna be working with teenagers, and they're 6 years old,
Yeah.
and they want nothing to do.
And I love the movie that she ends up making with him about the farts, and I loved how that was shown right after the advanced class.
Yes, and the advanced class is a funny take on uh, Maya Deeran's At Land experimental short. It's made with like what 12-year-old girls.
Hmm.
It's so ridiculous. And then hers follows, and that kid waking up with his top hat and his
Yeah.
beard and saying, "I can't fart."
Uh, oh, I don't know why that makes me laugh, but
Kids are funny.
yeah,
Oh
yeah, I
God.
liked that. I thought that the whole new roommate situation when she had to move into the new apartment, her weird roommates. There's a really funny line where, what did she say? The roommate said something about her oh, she goes, "Oh, you're on OK Cupid. That's how my taxidermist found his wife or whatever." That was funny, that line.
Uh, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in here.
There's a lot of New York comedy too, poking fun at the Brooklyn lifestyle and all of that, which again is very much like Girls.
Yeah, but it's all just taken from Woody Allen, really.
Yeah, of course.
But just a different, you know, little twist on it.
I mean,
Just a more
yeah,
updated.
it's Woody Allen for a new generation. I mean,
Yeah.
it's clearly aimed at 20 somethings living in New York, and
But I don't know why, but I must say that I wasn't as irritated with her character like I normally am with, 20 somethings that are
well,
kind of
well,
aimless
that's the
and
big difference between her and Lena Dunham as characters. She is much more quiet and understated, and her humor is a lot more dry. Whereas Lena Dunham is more boisterous and kind of silly with her style. I think they're both effective in their own way, but with Desiree Akavan, I think her comedy style is just a little bit different than Lena Dunham's.
I think I lean more towards the
Yeah,
Akvan side.
I think
Team
for the
team can we go Team
team,
Akvan? Can we start that?
I don't know if there's a need to pick sides here, but
I'm gonna start it. I started
I
it.
think that
So
they're both very talented young women, and I think that they both have great careers ahead of them. And I really hope that Lena Dunham finishes up with Girls soon so she can go back to movies.
do you think she will?
I hope so. I think she should,
We'll see. We'll see.
especially because she works with Apatow a lot, so I think that they could definitely do something. I want to see her direct another movie.
Okay.
It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to star her either.
Yeah, that would probably be good.
I think so.
Might be. Is it starting to be Dunham overkill? I have no idea. I haven't watched Dunham.
Hmm. Maybe
Dunham.
a little bit. Maybe a little bit. I think that Girls is so much like Tiny Furniture that I would like to see her try something else. But
Well, that's why I gotta say with Akavan, I'm really looking forward to something because, like I said, she handles the emotional stuff so well that I could see her making, more emotional dramas that aren't steeped heavily in comedy. And I think she would still do a fantastic job of
yeah,
it
I think so.
based off of this film.
Yeah, I think so too.
So it's going to be interesting to see. I look forward to it.
There you have it. Appropriate behavior. Do you have any final thoughts on this one?
I do not know.
Check it out. It is playing in limited release and video on demand right now, so you can see it wherever you are. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 7 out of 10.
Oh my God, that's what I give it.
Yeah, I saw that in your review.
Oh, so you just stole it from me.
No, I actually rated it on Letterboxd weeks ago.
Oh, I
Weeks.
stole it from
So
you.
really, you stole
I
it
just-
from me.
Damn it, you found out.
Yep.
Should have kept my mouth shut.
There you have it. Let's move on to our next film, The Duke of Burgundy. This is directed by Peter Strickland, who did Berberian Sound Studio a couple years ago. I have a synopsis here. A woman who studies butterflies and moths tests the limits of her relationship with her lover. This is opening in theaters next weekend. Now, I have a review written for this. It's not up yet. It'll go up later this week. So we'll start with you, Kevin. What'd you think of the Duke of Burgundy?
Stop saying things in a weird voice.
Why?
You make me laugh, and then all this phlegm comes up, and then I gotta bounce back, and it's tough work. I was really excited for this. I really enjoyed Barbarian Sound. What was it? Sound Studio? Okay. I enjoyed that. Was looking forward to this one. Everyone's giving it like 5 stars. So, I was raring ready to go. Gotta say, it's kind of disappointed. I, it's it's a solid movie. It just didn't wow me in any way. I just thought like, yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, the performances are strong. The cinematography's good. I think Strickland just spends entirely too much time on the entire insect angle that he's going for with the butterflies and moths. I mean, I don't know how many shots there are just pinned butterflies and moths.
I'm okay
It
with that.
just really didn't really add anything to it. I did like towards the end that he seems to do like an homage to Brackage's Mothlight, which I found interesting to just throw that in at the end. I'm not sure exactly how that tied into the film, but I liked it nonetheless. But for me, it was just I don't know, it was a bit repetitive, even though it seems like that's what he was going for. It was kind of, cyclical.
Yeah, it was like Groundhog Day, sort of. It's the
But
same thing over and over.
I mean, it started off interesting because you're seeing it from, you do the first sequence
Yeah,
where you're not entirely sure what's going on.
yeah. You think that the older woman Cynthia is in charge. You think that she's the one, and you think that she's this kind of because you don't realize at first that it's
No,
that
you
it's
just,
a role playing thing. You
yeah.
think that
And then,
this is really what's happening.
they redo it again with, some more information so it's in better context for you. And you see it again, and then it just keeps going through and through, and it starts off very interesting, and then towards the end, I don't know. It just kind of ran out of steam for me a little bit. I did find it interesting throughout the whole how this relationship works, and she's kind of forced into her role, and she's trying her best, but at the same time, you can tell that she's kind of getting tired
Yeah.
of it. Because, Evelyn's asking for the same thing over and over again. It's kind of like you have a very particular fetish, but yet you don't like to switch it up at all.
Well,
It
eventually,
keeps being the same role playing.
yeah. Eventually, she does try to switch it up, but makes things much more extreme than
I know.
previous.
But what would have happened if she just would have bought the human toilet? How would things been
I,
different?
I, I don't know.
It probably would have worked out so much better for them if only they got that human toilet.
If only. If
If
only.
only.
Or if they could get what were they were looking for a special bed that you could put her inside the bed, right?
Yeah,
But it
so
was
the other person would sleep on top of them.
yeah, maybe if they got that built, if they agreed to build that
She
more
just
quickly.
couldn't wait though. She just couldn't wait.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I loved this movie. I thought that this movie, I was so into this movie from the opening titles. I knew that this was going to be my kind of movie. Now, I'm not really well versed in these 60s, 70s Euro sexploitation films. I'm not, and I do want to go start watching some of these that like the like Jess Franco's films
yeah.
because this was heavily influenced by all of those. So I kind of want to see where those influences are coming from. But as far as the look, this it was really the visuals that did it for me in this movie. I thought that everything looked amazing. I loved the house that they lived in.
Yeah, oh my God, the
Amazing.
location for this film is fantastic.
Yeah, everything looks amazing in this movie. The outdoor scenes where there's that just lush overgrowth of foliage everywhere, and even the scenes when they have their moth and butterfly discussions. Just how
Which
that was all framed.
I just love that there's random
Random
mannequins.
mannequins. Yeah.
What? They're doing that pan at the beginning of the movie, just from right to left. And you just spot the first one. You're like, oh, there's a mannequin on the back. That's weird. Was that a mannequin? And then it goes a little bit further. And you're like, oh, there's another
Yeah.
mannequin. What the hell's up with the mannequins?
Yeah. Very, very bizarre. This is a
I love that they never come back to it, though.
no, they never explain it. They also never explain why there's no men in this movie. This is an entirely female-driven film. There are no men in it whatsoever.
Yeah, and they never really explain like what
Nope, they don't explain that. They never talk
the
about.
living situation. Like, is this a museum? Like, what? It's an institution, a school. What?
Yep,
They all
they never
live
say
on the
that.
premises.
They never tell you where the film is located. You have no idea. People have different accents. You never get a sense of where this is taking place or even when it's taking place. they never give you a straight answer as far as the time period either.
Yeah.
Which I liked, because to me this played out like sort of a fairy tale movie, and it didn't, none of that stuff really mattered within the context of the narrative. So for me, I like the fact that there are all these questions of what's the point of any of this, and there's so many things that you don't know the answer to in this movie. But like the butterfly and moth imagery too. There was seemingly no point to that.
I mean, the only thing, because there had to be a point to it, you know.
Well,
I don't think you would put that in so heavily. The only thing I can think of is the cyclical nature of insects, their lifespans, and tying that together with a relationship. Because at one point they have that final discussion about, you know, I forget what moth it is that buries into the ground or whatever to hold out for winter, and then the place shuts down for winter, and that's exactly the same time that Cynthia and Evelyn's relationship starts to kind of fall apart, and it essentially goes dormant.
Right.
And then it kind of pops up again at the end there, where they sort of go right back to what they were doing. Mm-hmm. Even though you can tell Cynthia's not, it seems like she's back into it, but you're not really sure. And I'm imagining that was kind of springtime.
Yeah, she was.
It was kind of flourishing again, but yet they're doing the same exact thing, same role playing that they've always done.
I do have a quote here from the director regarding the insects.
Okay.
He says, quote, "The first draft didn't have them. There's no intended metaphors there, although I'm sure you could find some if you force it. But it was mainly to provide a texture for the whole thing. Again, it's part of that decadent atmosphere. I tried to keep it back as much as possible when people start searching for some sort of metaphor that impedes the enjoyment somehow. There's an element to Evelyn's fantasies that is so precise everything is listed. There's that aspect. Due to circumstance, we couldn't shoot earlier or later than September, which at first felt pointless given that most insects would be absent. However, we had no choice. But during the last pre-shoot draft, I really came around to the melancholy of all the insects dying, emigrating, or hibernating. This long, deep sleep of the mole crickets in an underground tomb caught the atmosphere of both Evelyn's desires and also the aspect of their relationship.
Okay.
But otherwise, entomology is what these characters do. It's their backdrop without any need for explicit metaphors or connections."
So essentially what he's saying is just filling this movie with a shit ton of filler with all of his shooting of moths and whatnot. Butterflies.
He also says that, he says, quote, "I guess the big influence was Jean Panlave's nature films, where you present it as some sort of document, but in reality you're doing something that's alluding to something more poetic."
Okay. It kind of sounds like he just wanted it in there and he's not sure what it's there for.
Oh, I think that like he said in the quote, it said that that's just what they do. That's just what they're into, and they live this kind of decadent lifestyle that allows them to do nothing but role play all day and talk about moths and butterflies. Which I also found out all those moths and butterflies were fake. They didn't use any real moths or butterflies.
Well, I could tell with that one that he kept showing that shot of the one flying.
Yeah, but I mean like the ones on the boards and stuff, the pinned ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those were all created by hand. They looked really good.
Well, fantastic work to whoever did that. Good work.
There were the one kind of quibble I had with this is that there were at least 2 false endings that, by my count, or at least endings parts that I thought the movie was going to be over and then it continued on. And I don't know why that kind of bothered me a little bit, because there was the first time that it happens, it seemed like a really good place to end the movie, and then it just kept going on.
Yeah.
And that bothered me a little bit, but other than that, yeah, I have very, very little negative criticisms to say about this movie.
It is. I do enjoy that. Essentially, it's just a relationship story and how relationships become stale,
Yeah, exactly.
and you kind of got to work through it. But in what he houses it inside of, an S&M type role playing
Oh,
lesbian,
yeah.
it
That's
just makes everything
that's the other thing I
hilarious.
wanted to mention. So, with his last film, Barbarian Sound Studio, he was drawing influence from Italian giallo films of the 60s and 70s, and those movies are normally very violent, very graphic, very sexual in nature, yet in Barbarian Sound Studio there was no violence at all in that movie. There wasn't tons of blood and gore. It was all kind of
It's just the
implied.
sounds
It
of
was
it.
all
Yeah.
off screen. And he did the same thing with the Duke of Burgundy, where typically those movies that he's drawing influence from are very sexually explicit and are kind of crossing lines. And in this movie, there are some really explicit things that happen, but you don't see any of them. There's no
No, you
nudity
don't.
in this movie at all. And
Which is something.
I
The
like
way
I
that the
like
way
that he
that he
does that.
shot some of that, I enjoy it too because I really wasn't, to be honest, going into it. I was like, I don't really feel like seeing this for
No,
an hour
I
and
was
40
not
minutes.
interested.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I was interested in it just because it was Peter Strickland, but reading the synopsis for this, I was not really
No,
into it. I was like, oh, it sounds like a period piece about two lovers. Not interested. But then I saw the trailer, and I was like, okay, this looks pretty weird. I'm on board.
I didn't. I'm kind of on the fence of the way those were shot too.
I thought that they
But
were
that
really
it was
good.
so like kind of through the
Yeah, it was
glass,
like this kind of
so it was like
yeah.
refracted imagery. So it was kind of like three layered on top of each other. I don't know.
I like that.
Again, I liked it at first, but then like the fourth time around, it's kind of like, yeah, I get it,
Yeah, but I
get
was
it.
okay with that though, and the way that they handled the some of the really kind of graphic stuff with the I don't know if I should say or if I should keep it a secret, but there's some one per
We already talked about human toilets. I mean, come on.
well there's okay, so just to go along with that, there's some pissing involved, and when they deal
I
with those scenes, I like how they deal with those.
I thought it was extremely funny that the second time that that's shown, that was kind of like their erectile dysfunction was that she wasn't able to pee. She's like trying to help her.
I just
Oh
don't. The
God.
whole time I was watching it, I was just
Mm.
trying to wrap my head around how this works for her. You know,
She likes people to be extremely cold to her.
and I just didn't. I just. I understand that people are into this, but I was really struggling because I guess for me, it would be really difficult for me to actually believe that this is real, especially because it's so scripted. You know,
Yeah, well, yeah, she
the
has like complete control
the
over.
precise steps that you go
Yeah, she
through. It's like if she really wanted to be dominated, then why doesn't she just tell Cynthia, like, I'm going to come over at this time? You do whatever you want. Just make sure you dominate me, humiliate me, do all this stuff.
Well, it's funny because she inadvertently gets exactly what she wants by, through that
Right.
betrayal,
Right. Yeah.
and she becomes extremely cold to her all the time, kind of like surprising her. And you would think that, like, holy shit, this is your dream come true, Evelyn. But it doesn't quite work out that way.
But it always seems like Evelyn is actually the one in control. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
she definitely is.
It could even be the opposite thing where
Oh yeah.
she likes the fact that she has this much power over this woman because they said in the beginning that she was kind of infatuated with her because of I guess her knowledge with the butterflies and all of that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's all shown in that sort of second to last, where they're doing the role playing for what, like the sixth or seventh time, and Cynthia's just like breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Evelyn definitely has complete control in this.
Yeah.
And Cynthia's just getting old. She just doesn't feel like doing it anymore.
Now, what did you think of
Poor-
the performances?
I thought the performances were strong.
This is the woman that plays Evelyn, Chiara Diana. It's only her second role.
Yeah.
She,
And wasn't the other one
yeah,
Barbarian
Barbarian
Sounds?
Studio. So she did. I thought she did a really good job for it only being her second movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, both of them.
yeah, and Sidse Babbitt Knudsen.
Knudsen?
She did a great job too.
Yeah, she did a fantastic
As
job.
Cynthia.
There's another thing that, and this is completely personal quibble that I'm not taking into account for this movie. Too much fucking harpsichord.
See, I'm a big fan of the
Kids, oh
harpsichord,
my,
so
oh
I
my
was all
God.
about it.
How the fuck can anyone like a
I love the
harpsichord?
harpsichord.
We should
What
burn
what
every
about
single harpsichord in the
what
world.
about like Mark Mothersball's scores on
Uh,
Rushmore, and
you're a dick. Now you
that's a
make me
fine
look
use
like
of
an
a
idiot.
harpsichord there, buddy.
Ah, you got me. You got me.
Oh my.
I'll concede that one. You win, son of a bitch.
I mean, were you impressed with the visuals? Because I fucking love the way this movie looked. I'll say it
I
again.
liked him. I liked him up until a point. I wasn't blown away by him, but it's enough to kind of hold my interest
I
throughout.
think
I think it became a bit too repetitive too for me after a while.
I can see
Like,
that. I mean,
oh,
I can definitely see why some people may say that this does get repetitive because it is the same thing day in, day out. But for me, it didn't bother me because that was their lives. That was what they
I
did.
know.
So for me,
Yeah.
but I can totally understand why that would bother some people that see this. But yeah, it didn't bother me. So I like this quite a bit, and pretty strong start to 2015
Oh yeah.
for me at least. All right, the Duke of Burgundy. What are you gonna score this one out of 10?
I'm gonna give this a 7 as well.
I am going to give this an 8 out of 10.
Ooh,
Yeah, like I said, I have
goodness.
very little negative to say about this. If you're, I think it just goes back to me being a fan of these uh, old exploitation films. I like
I could,
I like what Strickland's doing with these genres.
yeah, I can see that. So yeah, it should be noted that I am completely ignorant to most of the films. I guess that he's pulling inspiration from.
Yeah, and
And I could be completely wrong with the Mothlight thing, but it
it could be,
was pretty much exactly like Brackage's Mothlight,
could be.
but just, different execution, the same look.
So the Duke of Burgundy is going to be on VOD and in limited release on Friday, so be sure to check that out. All right, let's talk about some of what we've been watching. We'll just breeze through a couple things. Do you have any highlights from the week?
Highlights. Mm. I checked out, this was a little while back, but I want to discuss it with you anyways. Checked out Black Caesar, the blaxploitation movie from
Yeah,
1973.
I never saw this one.
Never have I either. And I didn't know that this was Larry Cohen. I didn't know that
Huh.
going in. Had no idea. So the excitement level jumped up a little bit. I was already excited to see Black Savior. I've been wanting to see it ever since listening to Camp Low as a kid. And then I find out it's Larry Cohen. I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be fantastic. And it starts off strong. It's energetic. It's got it. The score is James Brown doing songs just for the movie. So it has great soundtrack, except for there's one song towards the middle that's just really ridiculous and kind of like lays on the exposition
Mm.
for some reason. Like it's just a shot of like two guys in a graveyard, and you're like, oh, what's going on now? And then James Brown just comes on. He's like, "Mama's dead,"
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay, Mama died. Gotcha. That was subtle. Starts off strong. Uh, Fred Williamson does a fantastic job as Tommy Gibbs. He's this he's a shoe shine boy that sort of works his way up. He gets beat up by a cop, breaks his leg, goes to jail, comes out, and decides that he wants to take over the organized crime in New York City and does so ruthlessly. And it's just fantastic the way that all comes together. Now it starts to drag a little bit once he finally does get to the top, and then he kind of gets consumed by greed and he just assumes everyone should be, blindly loyal to him. It's sort of his undoing. But man, the ending to this movie is just brutal. I thought it would be pretty special, but when you actually see it unfolding on screen before you, it's pretty shocking
Hmm.
how brutal this is. And then it goes a little bit further after that and just a fantastic ending. I mean, the ending of this movie really makes up for it. I want to tell you what it is, but
Well,
I want you to see it.
yeah. There's a number of blaxploitation films I have on my watch list, and this is
And
definitely one of them.
I mean, it's rough around the edges. It's Larry Cohen, one of his early films. Fred Williamson does an unbelievable job as Tommy Gibbs, and the way that they sort of depict his character is really interesting because he's not. You don't really root for the guy. He's really unlikable, and he does some sick stuff in this movie.
Hmm.
So he's he's like the anti-hero where
Yeah,
at first you're kind of rooting for him because he's fighting against the racism and everything, but then he turns into this like huge dick, sort of like Walter White style, and you're just like, I don't like you at all.
yeah. That's how a lot of those
It's
movies turned out.
yeah, it's solid.
Like movies
Plus
movies
the
where the main character's a pimp, you know, or or a drug dealer.
Yeah, because like halfway through this, he rapes his girlfriend, and you're like, God damn, I don't want to watch you
Yeah, that's kind
anymore.
of shitty.
Yeah.
Uh, I saw Dear White People.
Hey, I saw that too.
Oh, okay, all right.
We kind of
I liked it.
tandem.
I guess maybe it was really hyped up for me, and maybe if I saw it before I started getting all amped up for it, I would have liked it more. But I still liked it. I just wasn't blown away by it. It probably wouldn't have landed on my top 20, but I still thought it was, very socially relevant. I thought it was really funny at times.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't from the trailer. They make it out to be way more goofy than it really is.
Yes, yeah, exactly. This was not what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be more of a comedy, satire, but it's more of like a drama.
Yeah, it's not nearly
Heavy.
as I thought it was going to be kind of a college screwball comedy, but dealing with what it's like for modern black people in college, and it's not really doesn't really go there. I mean, it certainly pokes fun at a lot of the things that happen in college, especially Ivy League schools, and
Yeah.
but
I th
yeah,
I thought it was pretty funny in
yeah,
spots, especially the ridiculousness of Black Mitch.
yeah.
I'm from Vermont, the West Side, the West Side of Vermont. Oh God. But I was surprised because I thought it was going to be more of just, poking fun at white people, which I'm all for. But I was kind of surprised that, they go after
They go after
everybody.
everybody, which I think that they
It
that's
almost seems, and it almost seems like they're a little more critical of black people than white people. I mean, you have the huge infraction of the party, which is big and disgusting,
and true
which
and
I
a
knew,
true story.
yeah, which is, I didn't know that there was, like the black people parties, because I knew about the Mexican one because that happened at Penn State. So I heard about that one. But I didn't know about the other like three or four that they show at the end of the
Yeah.
film, which, what the fuck? But how everyone's just trying to like fit in and they're just not really being themselves, which was more of what I saw the film saying
Well,
or the message that it was trying to get across.
plus you have to remember that the main character is sort of the main character is sort of really against white people too. So it
Yeah, but
I
so
think that the
she's kind of
focus
thrust into it.
I think that the focus, like you said, it kind of pokes more fun at black people in this situation. I think that one of the main reasons is because of who the main character is and what she's trying to rally against. But also, you got to remember, I'm not going to give it away. There's more to that party than a bunch of white people deciding to be racist. And I think that
Oh yeah,
what
yeah.
happens to cause that party is that's a big thing in this movie.
Yeah. I thought it was just more poking fun at people how hard people try to just like fit in. Like at one point though, when that one side character, whatever, was like, "Oh, I read Ebony and Ivy," and she's like, "Can you explain the UFTA nose job?" I forget exactly what it was, and she sort of says, like how some black people will black it up around white people, and then other ones will try and soften their edges, and just the woman's response of like, "Why not just be yourself?" Which I thought was more of like the message of this movie is just like stop trying to be something that you're not.
Yeah,
Just be yourself,
because
because all of them are doing it
right,
throughout the
because
entire movie.
I think that
Everyone.
what we see in this movie is extreme versions of specific personality types in this
Oh yeah,
environment, and I think that each personality type portrayed in the movie has their own faults, and I think a lot of what the movie's trying to say is just be yourself and be cool to everyone. Don't be
just be cool,
don't
man.
if you see a black person, don't try to touch their hair.
Don't, yeah. Which I've never, like, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, is that really a thing?
I I think it is a thing.
Apparently,
Yeah.
apparently it's a thing, but dude, I learned a lot from
Well,
this
I
movie. I
also
gotta
never
say, like, I didn't know that a lot of these things happened.
I also didn't really know about how Ivy League schools worked as far as the how segregated they are, as far as they're very cliquish, you know what I mean? They have their own
Oh,
groups, and it's sort of like they're yeah, but Ivy League schools seem to be more egregious in doing that because of the different houses and stuff, which is something that I mean I didn't go to an Ivy League school, so I didn't really know how that worked and how that functioned.
yeah.
And I thought that that was interesting to see how you're all vying for the best house, and then there's that one house that's all the black people, which was funny because you might think that the goal would be to not put all the black people in one house, but in this movie they want that.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to hang around with a bunch of people that you don't really share interests with?
Yeah, exactly.
You do? Oh, you do?
No,
You
I'm
don't?
saying yes, and I agree with what you're saying.
I mean, I can see that. Just
I would either way. I would suggest checking this out. This comes out on DVD and Blu-ray. I think in a week or two, very very soon. I think we'll have a Blu-ray review for this up, I believe. So check it out. Very very strong debut from Justin
but
Simeon.
yeah, really strong debut, and I thought the performances were really good in this.
Yeah,
Fantastic performances. The only thing again is that you get the whole like the text stuff popping up.
I
God.
wasn't
And,
bothered
and I
by
know
that.
that that's going to be the goddamn future with all of our movies now. That's going to be incorporated some way somehow. But man, it irritates me. 'Cause I don't understand what it adds. It doesn't add anything.
Well, I think that it's just a lot of it's just showing what they're texting each other.
Yeah, I don't think you need to do that. Because what they're texting each other is never like important,
Not to them, it is.
I guess.
To them,
I guess.
to them, it's everything.
It's everything and all things.
Yeah. Dear white people, check it out.
Check it.
You got anything else?
No, not really. Unless you got some stuff.
Um, there was one other one I wanted to mention, and that's Giuseppe Makes a Movie.
Okay.
I don't know when
I
this
was
is.
interested in this one.
I don't know when this is coming out. I was able to see it, a screening of it here. Very odd. If you're into Harmony Korine, now have you seen? Do you know who Giuseppe Andrews is? Are you familiar with him?
I don't think so.
He was an actor. He was in a ton of movies. He was in Independence Day. He was in
Wait, he looks very familiar.
yeah, he was in Detroit Rock City. He was in Cabin Fever. He was in Pleasantville. I'm sure there's some I'm missing.
I think I might remember him.
American History X. He was in that.
I think I remember him from Detroit Rock City.
He was one of the main
Yeah.
one of the main kids in Detroit Rock City.
Yes.
Well, the director of Detroit Rock City, Adam Rifkin, made this documentary called Giuseppe Makes a Movie, which kind of just goes around while Giuseppe Andrews makes a movie, and as the title implies. And so he doesn't act. He doesn't really act anymore. I think he acts in some of his own movies, but he basically lives in a trailer park and puts together these very, very, very cheap movies. I think all his movies cost $1,000 to make. And he uses homeless people and people that live in the trailer park that he lives in and makes these very strange, absurd, low-budget movies on video.
Yeah.
I would liken it to Harmony Korine or John Waters.
Okay.
A lot of them are very bizarre and contain some kind of gross imagery at times, but still very interesting to see his process and what he just what he does to make these movies. And he is a very interesting person. He's really funny, but he's also very articulate, and it just seems odd that he put himself in this environment.
This is what he's doing?
Yeah. It just seems very weird. But it's a funny movie. It's very entertaining. At times, it does get pretty gross.
I want to see this.
It does contain senior citizen nudity and dead pigs.
Okay. Kind of par for the course with the names that you mentioned.
I've only seen one of Giuseppe Andrews' movies, and that was one called Touch Me in the Morning.
Okay.
And it's fine. A lot of his movies end up on Troma. Troma put out a whole bunch. They put out a bunch of his movies.
Okay. All right.
And they're just these kind of weird little stories.
They sound interesting.
They're certainly not for everyone. I'll tell you that.
No, not for everyone. Are you sure?
No, they're just the one. Okay, so the movie that
I should watch these with my mom. Right?
Oh yeah,
is what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. The movie that he's making in this documentary is one called Garbanzo Gas.
I'm in already.
And it's about a cow who the slaughterhouse lets the cow go on a vacation day, and he decides to go and stay at a hotel.
Awesome.
For the day. And the cow is played by this guy. I think his name was Vietnam Ron or something. And this guy, he looks like a homeless guy. He's just, I don't think he is technically homeless, but he looks insane. And they dress him up like a cow, and it's something.
Everything that you just said sounds amazing.
Yeah. It's very, very bizarre and kind of disturbing.
I would hope so.
But
I just love the names in this cast. Vietnam Ron, Big Ed, Walt Dongo.
Yeah.
Man. Sir Bigfoot George.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's where it's at right there.
And most of them are alcoholics and drug addicts, and they'll pay him $50 for a day's work, and they'll buy him some booze.
That is the life.
Yeah. I highly recommend checking this movie out.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah. Giuseppe Makes a Movie is the name of it, and you can seek out Garbanzo Gas was his 30th movie, so you can find.
Good Lord.
Yeah, you can find some of his movies. They're all over the place, so check it out. That's really all I have that I wanted to mention. Let's move on and talk about some predictions.
Let's do it.
Black Hat, you said 71. I said 62. Actual 31. Ouch. I didn't get a chance to see this. I was gonna see it, but I was like, you know what? It just looks.
You know what's really fun? I was looking forward to seeing this. Like I was interested. The trailer had me interested. I wanted to go see it, and then the minute that I found out that it came out this weekend, I was just like, nah, I don't want to see that.
Oh, I do that. I do that all the time. That happens to me
read any
all
reviews,
the time.
Nothing. I was just like, oh, Black Hat comes out this weekend? I don't want to see that.
Yep, that happens to me so often. I don't know why, but yeah.
I guess when I'm faced with the reality that I could make it happen, I don't.
It makes
you
back
feel
off.
like. Yeah.
Paddington.
I don't want to.
You said 82. I said 72. Actual 98.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
Good Lord.
Crazy.
Those galoshes.
They really, yeah. The Wedding Ringer. You said 42. I said 45. Actual 33. Not. No. Not looking good. My girlfriend tried to talk me into seeing that one, and I was like, "No, ma'am. I don't want anything to do with that. It just doesn't look funny to me."
Wow.
Yeah, I called my girlfriend ma'am. Next week we have Mordecai. I bet you're excited for this one. A little J. Depp action.
Are you kidding me?
What are you thinking on Mordecai?
This looks.
What's the point of this movie? I don't understand why it exists.
No one does. It's just to get Depp out there, I guess.
Is it supposed to be like a Pink Panther type thing?
I have no idea what it's supposed to be. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm gonna say 30.
I'll say 36.
It looks terrible.
It does. The Boy Next Door, that's the one with Jennifer Lopez, that looks equally terrible.
Again, why does this exist? Like, why are we trying to,
I feel like it's the 90s all over again.
I know. Like, why are we trying to bring back J-Lo's career?
Boy Next Door.
What do we owe J-Lo? Why is this happening?
What do we owe J-Lo?
You know what I mean? Like, let's move on.
It's more like, what does she owe us? And the answer is Boy Next Door.
But no, we didn't want it. Apparently someone somewhere was like...
Take that movie back. Get it out of here. Oh, God. I'll say 32 on that one.
I'll say 15.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to be closer on that.
It looks dreadful.
We also have Cake. I don't know if that's getting a wide release or not. That's the one with Jennifer... Jennifer Aniston. For some reason, I go to say Jennifer Aniston, and then all that pops into my head is Jennifer Lawrence, and I'm like, okay, well, that's not it.
It is the 90s. This is the 90s.
This is the 90s. So what are you thinking on Cake?
Oh, 38.
I'll say...
I'm not hearing good things about
No, I'm not either. I'll say 46.
Ooh.
And then we also have Strange Magic. I don't know if you saw the trailer for this. This is an animated film. I think
maybe I did see.
It was created by George Lucas, and it looks awful. Oh my God, this looks so bad. It's a musical, but it's all done. It's all covers.
Oh, boy.
So Strange Magic is the Bee Gees song.
It's inspired by Midsummer Night's Dream too.
Yeah, but it's all like 70s pop. Maybe even maybe even before 70s pop.
This is awful.
Yeah. What are you thinking on this one? Or wait, did you predicted the last one? I'll say 40. I'll say 42.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. 38.
Okay. And in limited release next week, we have Black Sea Mommy, which is the Xavier Dolan one.
Yes.
I'm interested in that.
Yes, I'm very interested in that one. Getting excited.
Killers, that's the Mo Brothers one. I did.
Are we gonna do that?
Yeah,
we'll do that for next week's show.
Yeah, we'll do that next week. I already saw it, but I'll
watch it again.
I'll watch it again.
Asshole. Jesus, be professional.
Song 1, the Duke of Burgundy, The Humbling, and the Atticus Institute.
Okay.
And
it's not bad. It's not bad.
No.
For January.
Not terrible. I think actually the Atticus Institute, I don't think that's hitting theaters. So let me take that off. I think it's
This is what I like about January and February now. You get some solid entries on the VOD level.
Yeah.
Since you're not really getting anything in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Plus it's really fucking cold. I don't want to go outside.
Yeah.
Win.
Yep, I agree. VOD next week, speaking of, we have The Humbling, The Duke of Burgundy, Killers, We'll Never Have Paris, Veronica Decides to Die, and the Atticus Institute. So certainly check out The Duke of Burgundy and Killers. I don't know about the other ones. We'll Never Have Paris, I believe, is a romantic comedy. The Atticus Institute is a found footage horror film. All right.
Which I heard those are coming back.
Oh, yeah. They're coming back. If you thought 2015 wasn't going to have some found footage horror, you sir, were sadly mistaken.
Oh boy.
They're coming back with a vengeance. I already wrote a review for the Atticus Institute, so that'll be up.
Would you
I'll probably post that up on
can
Monday.
can you give us a little spoiler?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh.
It's terrible. It's not found footage. It's actually a mockumentary, but I consider it to be the same thing.
Do you have do you just have like a template now? Where it's kind of like Mad Libs, where you just have a blank space for
Well,
the
I
title
feel it.
and the character names.
I feel like
and
I'm
you just fill it in.
I feel like I'm pulling a Duke of Burgundy when I write these because I essentially write the same thing over and over. So I try not to do that, but it always ends up being me just railing against
But
found
you know what?
footage.
Like,
It's a possession film too, so
yeah, but like honestly, like why should you have to put that work in if none of these films are?
that's
They're just
true.
regurgitating the same shit over and over. So just do the same thing to them. They don't deserve actual thought in a review.
That's true.
Stop making them.
I should start doing that. People wouldn't get it though. They'd start yelling at me. But
No, yeah. What?
next week on DVD and Blu-ray we have Annabelle. I haven't seen that, but I also heard not good things. So that's the Conjuring spin-off.
Yeah.
The Atticus Institute, like I said, skip that. The Box Trolls.
Ooh, I'm looking. I want to see
Yeah, check that one
that.
out.
Finally.
Check it out.
Yes.
Coherence, absolutely check that out. That was one of my top
Definitely.
10s of 2014. The Drop,
It's a good one.
You like that quite a bit. I didn't get a chance to see it yet.
Solid.
The Internet's Own Boy. That's a documentary about Aaron Schwartz. Highly recommend that one. Did that get nominated for an Oscar? I think.
No, I don't think it did.
It was on the short list, but I don't know if it made it through.
Oh,
The Mule. Recommend. Chicken.
Chicken.
Do you recommend The Mule?
I recommend it. It's a light recommend.
Yeah, light recommend for me. Lucy. Actually haven't seen it.
I kind of want to see this.
Yeah, I might
I want
check
to
it.
see this Lucy.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it when it hits Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like that
White
idea.
Bird and Blizzard. Nah.
Oof.
Nope. Go back and you can hear our thoughts on that in more detail.
Yes.
Wolves. Do not recommend Wolves. And
Okay.
The Zero Theorem. The Terry Gilliam.
Oh my goodness.
I think that this
forgot
may
all
be the
about
last
that.
time we ever mention the Zero Theorem.
I really hope so.
Drink it
to be
in,
honest.
Kevin, because we're not going to be talking about it anymore.
Oh, it's sad day. Sad day.
That's what we need to do. We need to start putting movies in the vault and just never mentioning them on the show again.
Just retire 'em.
Yeah, we need to just retire certain movies
Take them
and
out.
referencing certain movies.
Take them out to the field and just put a nice shotgun blast through the face.
Yep. Put two in the back of the head.
Dig his ditch and throw them in there.
Now, I think that there was at least one Criterion I saw coming out.
Oh, we got two, buddy.
Two.
We got two of them. We have a 1942 Palm Beach story from Preston Sturgis, which I think is right up your alley. It's a wild tale of wacky wedlock.
Oh God. Are you trying to say that that's right up your alley?
No, that's right up yours. It's all about you, bud. It's Florida. Come on, you love
I
your
don't
Palm
live there
Beach.
anymore. So
And then another film that might be right up your alley too, because I know you're a huge Guy Madden film guy, right? You loved Keyhole.
no, I
Big
did.
on that one. Well, My Winnipeg is coming out. His film from 2007, which I actually want to see this, and it has a fantastic Marcel Duchamp cover to it.
Is that the? I think I saw that. There's like a
One with the
horse.
horse?
A horse.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's interesting.
I wouldn't write.
Doc,
Go ahead.
docu fantasy. It's like a documentary slash fantasy film about his birthplace, Winnipeg. It just sounds very interesting.
Yeah, I would not write that guy off just because I didn't like one of his movies.
No. I just like picking on you, but he does so many different things that obviously, some of them aren't going to work for you. But he's a very interesting filmmaker. He's all over the place, trying new things at least, more so than anyone else.
Gotta like that. Gotta respect
gotta
that.
love it.
Gotta respect it.
Like right now, I don't know if it was right now or like last year, but he was having this sort of like traveling show where you could actually go. They were like installations where he was making films that kind of died in development, films that never got made. So he was just doing them himself with like a cast and crew, and you could go and watch him film it and everything. But he never actually came out with them. It was just the process of him making them.
Hmm.
It's interesting. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah, sounds like it. All right, well, I think that will wrap it up for this week. Next week, we'll definitely be doing Killers and maybe
Duke of Burgundy again?
again.
Just
I'm just gonna rip the audio that we did today and just put it in there. We'll probably
No, I want to do it where we say the exact same things, but I say everything that you said and you say everything that I said.
Switcheroo. I like that.
Yeah, and then we can reinterpret it.
I don't know if Mommy's coming out on VOD, but if it is, we'll do that. I mean, I'll probably gonna see it in the theater, but
I will not have that luxury.
No. All right, I think that'll do it. Send us your questions. Podcastfilmpulse.net is the address. We'll be sure to answer them on the show. Follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet, @FilmPulseKevin, and be sure to rate us on iTunes. We appreciate that very much. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name is Adam Patterson, and we'll see you on Thursday for Ryan Watches a Movie.
Since you called, how long since you've been hurt? How long since you called?
This is directed by Peter Strickland, who did
Hold up.
Barbarian.
Hold up.
Hmm?
Trying to get a little break there.
Okay.
Get that cough out.